Alright, you guys, by this point, if you don't know that King Kong is going to fight 2014 Godzilla, well, then now you know. So, you guys, Kong Skull Island stars Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, John C. Reilly, John Goodman, and Thomas Mann, along with a few people from The Kings of Summer. Now, the reason why I bring up The Kings of Summer is because it is the director of that movie who is directing Kong Skull Island. And let me just say, The Kings of Summer, you guys know, is my favorite comedy. I think I've said it in previous videos before. So seeing him do something as big and cinematic as this to join a monster universe was really badass to see. And I gotta say, this is just one of my favorite movies of this year already, and I did not expect to love it as much as I did. Alright, so I'm totally going to say his name wrong, but the movie is directed by Jordan Vogt-Roberts, and basically, it's pretty much Godzilla, but with a different monster. And what I mean by that is, a lot of critics have been saying that King Kong is not shown in this movie for a long time, but when he is, it's really cool, and there's a lot of great action scenes. But for me, I thought he was in the movie for a perfect amount of time. And for a movie that's about Kong Skull Island, they also did a great job with the characters, and they did a great job with showing the environment and all the other smaller monsters that live on the island as well. And I thought that was really cool. It wasn't just about King Kong. That would have gotten a little bit boring, even though it is a King Kong movie. But this had all other elements of the people going to see the island and see King Kong. It showed their side of being lost and how they have to they split up. They have to see they both have two different opinions on what they want to do. John Goodman's character and Samuel L. Jackson's character, they both have conflict. So there's conflict between characters, there's conflict between them and King Kong, and there's conflict between King Kong and some of the other monsters on this island. So basically, you guys, you have all these people just not agreeing on the same page, and they're in an uncharted island where they have no idea, and they're just following Tom Hiddleston, who happens to be really good with the sword. And guys, people were talking about, because I've seen so many reviews for this movie already, that there was not really a love connection in this movie, and I gotta say, there's really not, and they don't push too hard on it, but I believe it's there, and I think it's between Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson's character. There's just some subtle things that they do in the movie where you can kind of tell that they care about each other. That's why they team up. They're always next to each other in the movie. And I thought that was pretty cool to see, and that they didn't turn it into a love story, but that there was an element of it being there. And so, but that brings up my point that a lot of critics said, this movie is not about the characters, but to me, I think it is. How can you have a movie about King Kong and only have it be about King Kong? That just doesn't work out. You need to have something to go along with the characters for you to care about the characters. Because yes, they do kill off a lot of people in this movie, people that you do like, and people, well, that you don't really know what's going on. So when they do die, you're like, wait, who just died? What helicopter just crashed? And you're really confused. But for the most part, they do a pretty good job of saying who dies and who doesn't. And there's some pretty big stars that do die in this film. I'm not going to say who, because this isn't a spoiler review. But just watch out for that, guys. This is a movie where some moments I was really freaked out about who they were going to kill off. But then they corrected themselves, and I was very happy with it. So it just depends on who you're rooting for and who you like in this film. For me, that was pretty much everybody. So when anybody died, I was pretty sad about it. But they went out a very cool way, and I do have to say the CGI is very cool in this movie. Like in 2014 Godzilla, there's a fight scene with the two monsters at the end. And that was very cool to see, all CGI, of course, but it was a really long, well-paid-off fight scene that I think you guys are going to think is really badass if you're a fan of Kong or just the MonsterVerse in general. I think you guys are really going to find it cool. And so I was really skeptic of John C. Reilly's character, especially shown throughout the trailer. Now, for me, I'm not a huge comedic person. You guys know that about me. I do get a lot of hate for that from my friends, but I just don't love comedy. So, and that can tell you a lot that my favorite comedy is The Kings of Summer. So with John C. Reilly in here, that sort of scared me a lot, and I didn't know if the humor was going to work. And I know a lot of other critics did say that the humor lands most 100%, 99% of the time. But for me, I laughed throughout this whole movie when it was supposed to be a little serious, but also a little bit goofy. And I think it did a great job of doing both of those things in a new and upcoming environment that nobody really knew about, and they made it feel safer at home, even though it was completely dangerous and uncharted, like we've talked about. But I feel like the humor in that was kind of like a safety net for all the characters to kind of feel safe, even though there was a lot of bad shit going on, especially when some of the characters died. There would even be humor in that. So I guess my only flaw with the humor is that there could have been less of it, but again, John C. Reilly and the director of The Kings of Summer, there's going to be humor in it. So I wasn't complaining too much. So that's it for this review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I honestly did not expect to enjoy this movie as much as I did, and this is on my top 10 list so far of the best movies of 2017. Along with Get Out and some of the other movies that I've talked about before in my other videos. So I'm very pleased to see it on here. It might change. I'm not sure. There's a lot of other movies coming out. But when that video comes, you'll guys, I guess, see if I changed it or not. But as of now, it's on there, and I'm very pleased with that. So with that in mind, you guys, I'm going to give it an awesome. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I laughed throughout the whole thing. The CGI fight scenes were awesome, and I really liked seeing some of the characters from The Kings of Summer in this movie, which I think a lot of people missed because, well, they probably haven't heard of The Kings of Summer. And, guys, there is a credit scene, so make sure to stay at the end. It is very important. Let's just say it's about Monarch, and that's all I'm going to say. But I do think you should definitely check it out, because we have a long time to wait for the next Godzilla film, and then the Godzilla and the King Kong battle movie. So, with that in mind, guys, thank you for watching. My name is Nick. This is my review for Kong Skull Island. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video.